do we have?
Vegas. What are your first thoughts on Flynn?
I got to look more into it. I woke up to the headlines, but then I've just been planning out my day. I need to see. I know that so they said there's the charges. Has he pled, or they just say that they think he's going to plead guilty, which means most likely he's working with them. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like you have to wait to see more specifics, right? Everyone was losing their mind over the last situation, and then people realized, oh, this is about money, right? This isn't necessarily about Trump Russia, which is what a lot of people want it to be about. It's so interesting to see so many of like my liberal friends being like, man, he needs to be impeached so that we can have the VP become president, and I think like there'd be enough people that are like, well, still that's better. But that's also because a lot of people have been talking about, like, you've seen the stories more and more and more specifically about Trump's mental health. And I think that has people spooked in a whole different way. Like, obviously, there have been people that are worried about that in general, but now it feels like more than ever. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm going to continue watching over the weekend. I said this at the beginning of the Trump administration. Trump has done the amazing thing of making people still care about news over the weekend. That wasn't really a thing before Trump was president or before he was running. Like it's crazy. That's one of the biggest changes as far as pop culture is concerned. So what else do we have?
Rachel Marie says, hi, Phil. Congrats on everything. So happy for you. I've been watching your videos for 5 years now. Here's my question.
Yes.
If you were approached to write a book, would you say yes? And what kind of book would you write?
I was approached a very long time ago to write about my life, but I was like 23 at the time. I hadn't really experienced life. This is before you had like the big surge of every YouTuber has a book. And let's be very giving. 50% of them being garbage. Let's be very open with that number. And I just didn't have anything to say. I was like, some cool shit's happening in my life. My childhood was hard. I think I want to come out with a book that kind of talks about the things that I've learned in my life. Talk in depth about things I learned both from early childhood, early business, later in business. I think I'd like that. And then secondly, I think it'd be fun to make kids books with my kid and then a graphic artist. But that's really it. I'd make one of those two. Something that kind of talks about my life, but then could be kind of converted into something that people can pull something for their own personal life, right? Whenever I enter into a conversation or I read a book, or actually when I read a book, I want to be entertained, but just like any good conversation I want to have with someone, I want to learn something. I want to come out of that a smarter person, or at least a person that is thinking about something new. So I would want to be able to provide that.
Burn Solutions asks.
Burn Solutions.
We've answered this a million times. Yes, every live stream. But we're going to do it again because people seem to really want to know. I know you're a busy man with all that you have going on, and I currently work 70 to 90 hours a week.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, right. How do you balance so you have time with friends and family?
It's very hard. I consider my buddy Kevin to be one of my best friends, Richard Ryan, one of my best friends, and I haven't seen Richard in 6 months. We try and keep up on text because he's a very busy guy. I'm a very busy guy. We're in this like weird kind of place where it's like we want to really focus on business so that we can then focus on family. But I feel like that's a little bit like we're doing a crash diet so that we can live a healthy life. Like it doesn't feel like it's getting to the goal that you want to. It feels like it's fighting against it. Because often when you accomplish more, you have more responsibilities. You have to stick with it unless you have a really good out. Plus, I love my job. I just have to figure out a better way to work with it with my kids. In an ideal world, I think what I would like to do is just make sure that I'm working while my kids are in school, especially at this early age. Obviously, as kids get older, they want less and less to do with their parents than they want, and I want my kids to not be attached to me. But yeah, I'm still figuring it out. Time management is my number one hurdle right now. I feel like at times it affects the show, but if it affects anything, I want it to affect the show and not my actual personal life. So it's a balance. I'm still trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Okay. Jack Bolin says, "Happy birthday."
Thank you.
As it is your birthday, is there anything that you wish you had done when you were younger, or anything that you plan on doing in the years to come?
Wait, I'll be that guy that everyone's being on the internet right now. Man, 6 years ago, I knew that I should have invested in Bitcoin, man. I mean, I got in at like 4,500, so I'm feeling happy. But I have some friends that are heavily invested, and they did the smart thing. They went heavy, hard, doubled, tripled their money, and then took out their initial investment. And now it's just like a fucking waiting game for them. It's such a pain in the ass. I don't know. But as far as younger, I think just being more comfortable with yourself, letting personal attacks not hit you as hard. Like I get annoyed by them. I don't believe them. But when you're younger, when you don't really know who you are, it's very easy to believe what someone else says about you, and that can just really fuck with you, like on a day-to-day life basis. Like, I mean, I don't want to be like white knighting, but I mean, bullying can fuck with people. I'm glad that I was able to get past, and I feel like it made me a stronger person, hopefully a better person. But man, people are fucking brutal with each other. What else do we have?
Let's see.
You're late to the party. Well, we'll recap. I answered a bunch of questions. I acknowledged yesterday's show was shit. I agreed with the criticisms to the people that were extremely rude to me or attacked me personally or friends and family. They can go fuck themselves. And I think that's a full recap.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, and we're going to try and make sure that we take that into mind moving forward.
Cool beans.
What else do we have?
Let's see. Seawood says, "Hey Phil, with demonetization getting worse on YouTube, should
Yes.
YouTube think about a rating system, G, PG, etc., for creators to use to better state what kind of content they make to avoid scaring advertisers?"
I think that YouTube might be scared of trying to get more specific. We have a story that I was going to put up today, but because of it's not full on newsy, but it kind of talks about another company, Twitch, and it talks about some of their rules and how they are kind of vague, and based on whoever is looking at that rule, they may have a different perception of it. And I think YouTube prefers that because it allows them more leeway for what to allow and what not to allow. So I don't know if they're going to go more specific. I think because this latest instance has to do with children, they're 100% they can't fuck around, which is why we're also seeing kids' channels hit in general. Some of these channels that are complaining, they have no right to complain. Like you just look at some of their thumbnails and it's like that kid looks like he's bloodied. He has a throwing star in his head and someone's screaming, and it's just over the top crazy bullshit that takes advantage of being in the YouTube Kids app. But is not appropriate for a lot of young children. What I would say is if they had to do anything, and they start from where they're dealing with children, it would be figuring out how to properly manage age ranges more so. Because there are a lot of family channels that you could justify for maybe 13-year-olds. You could justify for kind of, tweens. But you can't justify for toddlers. That there's like certain things that they shouldn't be in front of them. So that's kind of where my mindset is. As far as the 13 RMA stuff like that, I highly doubt that they're going to do it. I think it takes too much time, and it allows for even more criticism. Because if you think that people getting demonetized is like a lot of backlash, people being all of a sudden considered R for this topic, like it just brings up, but they still have ads, but I'm R. And we already have age gating and restricted videos. Like my channel is incredibly restricted. Like if you try to go to my channel from like a school, I think I don't know if they've changed it recently. I have like maybe 3 videos that make it through the restricted filter. So there's just little things like that. What else do we have?
Let's see. Joe Duckworth. We have the same birthday. Happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday, Joe.
How do you feel about us sharing a birthday with World AIDS Day? Do you feel like we lose some of the oomph? Sorry, I want to be inappropriate for a second. Okay, let's go. What's next?
Mind you, Joe actually had a question.
Oh, Joe had a question. Sorry, Joe. What was your question?
Do you think people are making too big of a deal out of the Victoria's Secret Angels ordeal?
Here's where I stand. So if you don't know, it's like the Victoria's Secret Angels on a video. They're singing Bodak Yellow. I was like, don't fuck up the name, Phil. Kodak Blue. No, they were singing the song, and then in the song they sing a part that has the N-word in it. I understand the argument from both sides of someone made this art, they put it out there into the world, anyone can say it. Other people saying, no, you fucking can't. It's not your word. I will always be on personally. I'm not saying what I'm telling other people. I will personally end up on the side of, it's not a hill for me to die on. It doesn't make I don't care. I don't I don't need to sing along. I just don't care. I know that there are some people that are very passionate about it, and they think that it's hypocritical or it's not fair or something like that. I don't care. If people have a problem with that specifically, I have no skin in the game. I'm fine without doing it. But Brianna, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts that you'll share privately to me to 21,000 people as well?
So I think that it's definitely, we've all been in the position where you say to yourself, like, ooh, and that is a song that I sing alone in my car. And not as a stoplight with my windows rolled down.
Right.
If you have, just ask yourself that question. Would I publicly sing this? If someone, maybe the Angels didn't know they were being recorded. Would you publicly sing this? If the answer is no, sing it alone in your car.
I think they knew the camera was there. But because I feel like they were making direct eye contact, so maybe I remember there was one girl in it that was just like, nope, nope, not gonna fuck with this.
I think maybe one, read the room. So obviously everyone in the room seems
read the room. Well, that apparently didn't work for them.
No, the room seemed quite comfortable, but also understand you can't read the internet. Just be cautious.
Right.
You know your public figures, so be cautious.
There's some music that I listen to and I'm like, oh, I can't listen to this fully in public, but I'll still sometimes do it with Eminem. If you look at a lot of his old lyrics, you're like, oh shit. But I don't know. For me, and it's when this is where I have 100% bias, and it kind of goes against everything else that I say. Eminem could do anything, and I'm like, nah, it didn't happen. Yeah. Didn't happen.
Yikes.
But
I mean, it's like the
love him too much. Sorry, my emotions supersede fact.
But it's like Jay-Z had that song, what was it? It was the OJ song on this last album, that it was ooh, that's one that I just listened to in my own private home. OJ. And don't ever, I don't need to sing this with people. I
remember seeing an article and I was like, how many times? Oh, it's every word.
It's, it's 90% of that chorus. Okay. Yeah, I just think, I don't know, just, if you're a public figure, just be smarter.
So you think there's a difference between public figure and everyday Joe?
Yeah, because Everyday Joe's not going to get the backlash of the internet. I mean, Everyday Joe, I can think you're an asshole, but...
Have you seen what has happened on the internet several times?
I'm just saying, if it's some douchebag on the street, right?
Right.
Okay, I can hate you. I don't know who you are.
Okay.
Victoria's Secret Angels, you've built this brand for yourself. So
I don't even know. I have to double check. I don't even know if they responded. They're like, whatever. I was like, Trump's gonna blow up something soon. No one's gonna care.
They also, I think, understand that you know what? You're still gonna buy our stuff, right? You're still gonna look at pictures of my boobs, so you still want to see me in my underwear.
That's true.
That's my brand.
That's true.
So I don't think they care that much.
Yeah, there's certain demographics.
Again, know your audience. Read the room.
What else do we have?
Let's see. Jeremy Tran says, Phil, do you plan on adding some kind of reporter or on-the-ground investigations in your news network in the future?
Yes. So we've talked about this in general, and so finding the right producers, right film crew, right on personality to go somewhere, that is a current process we're going through right now. But we're also open to the idea of, I don't know how many people remember Current TV. So Current TV used to have a bunch of mini docs, and essentially they would just reach out to a shit ton of producers. You submit stuff. If we think it's good, we'll pay for it. I think back then they did $300, $500. We'd probably aim for, depending on what kind of content, $500 to $2,000 for a full piece of content that we could feature, depending on how good it is, how long it is, everything that went into it. But after the fact, right? So, and because there's so many passionate, I think, filmmakers that are on YouTube, so many passionate filmmakers and people that want to show news and what's happening in the world in our community. So right now we're organizing what will end up being right now a simple page of what is the thing, what are you filming, do you already have a finished product that you've maybe made for insert whatever project. Having people submit and then using that as an interesting viewpoint. I would most likely still want to bookend it so that I could talk about it outside of an individual showcasing. But I think it'd be this really interesting thing of finding the next generation of people that are really passionate in this industry, bring them into what we're creating, and also it's a great way to make first contact with producers that we would want to work in within the future. So it's something 100% we're excited about. It's one of the forks that we're currently handling, and I'm very, very excited about it. I think it's a very cool opportunity. What else do we have?
So from the DeFranco Elite Discord, a name that is just a whole lot of consonants asks, did you feel weird hanging out with Casey the other day? Is it like sleeping with the enemy with his connection to CNN? And how do you make sure that there's no conflict of interest?
No, when it comes to someone that I consider a friend or a friendly, you have to separate their politics, separate their work from them, right? I've had very public, massive disagreements with Casey, the things that he's said, the ways that he's conducted himself. But I greatly respect that man. I greatly appreciate talking to him and advice and things that we've had with like conversations that I have with him out after work and other kind of industries that we're both dabbling in. You just have to separate it. If you can't kind of separate someone from that, and also it's important that Casey, since that, I think that was a learning moment for him that he kind of thrived from, of being, like, if you watch the podcast with him, I like 100% think that he has like a very open mindset in general. As far as him being connected with CNN, obviously that's always in the back of my mind as far as the content that is created maybe with the news network, because they're a big player. Obviously, when there is money, there is control. I think Casey's probably a smart enough guy that he set it up in a way where there's not a ton of control. But no, it's not like sleeping with the enemy. I greatly respect him if he does something. I mean, I've had to talk about people I respect on or I'm friends with on my show, almost because I need people to know that I'm not going to manipulate the story or do something negative. So I don't know. That's no. I think he's a great guy. What else do we have?
Okay, Palek Kumar. I'm so sorry, man. Hey, happy birthday, Phil. How are your future plans for additional content going? Any plans to do more longer form content consistently, like documentaries or Dave Rubin style interviews?
Yeah, so for the documentaries, once again, it's like it's bringing new people into the family, and that's always very concerning when some of the bigger docs can cost a lot of money. I do 100% want to jump into the mini doc space. We have good shooters, but we need good minds that we can send out there. And finding people that I don't think are incredibly skewed in one political direction is very hard. And once again, that might just be me being far too critical. But it's something I feel like especially when it comes to new content, you get one first impression. It's incredibly important that it's a good one, because if like the first one flops, then everything you're doing falls into question. So yeah, we're taking time. Probably the first thing that we're going to do, I talked about this during the DeFranco Elite Town Hall. The DeFranco Elite Town Hall is live streams. So there's the podcasts and the live streams. We had a deal lined up with a certain streaming company where we were going to do this somewhat daily live show after the Philip DeFranco show. There was guaranteed money, there was support, there was promotion, and in my head I was like, I feel like coming out of having been in a contract where I was kind of locked down for 4 years, and I learned a lot during that time, not shitting on it, but emotionally, near the end, I was in a very horrible place. I was in a very depressed place. The restrictions, you get to a certain point where you realize dollars don't define happiness. Dollars make your problems, like problems that you had before, easier. But when something you're doing is making you miserable, no dollar amount really feels justified. And this is on board with some depression stuff that I've had that I don't really like to talk about. But what was the main question? I'm rambling. You lost it too, Brianna?
Hold on, no.
Oh,
she's here. Mind you, it happened to be one that I didn't pull. I just happened to read at random.
Wait, what is it?
But I found him. Hey, Mr. Kumar. So, do you future plans for additional content and long-form documentaries? There he is.
I want to put that content initially while we're streaming it live on DeFranco Elite. So the people that have been supporting us, the people that then do support us, they'll be the first to participate in these live streams. The people that are at the lower tier, the $5 tier, they'll be the first to consume the full unedited part. And then what we're going to do is we're going to release the full and then in segmented parts those video clips on YouTube and other places. That way, we're incentivizing and essentially thanking all the people that have been funding what we're doing on DeFranco Elite, which I am always immensely thankful for. The fact that we get to make this show in an incredibly in an environment that is not stressful, at least for those specific reasons, is amazing. That growing is a lot easier. So incredibly thankful for. So that's what we're gonna do. But also, I'm gonna start launching initially things on DeFranco Elite. One of the first things that we're going to do closed beta on. Oh god, I really hope I don't get fucking.
I don't have friends
updates. Actually, wait. I'm gonna put it on airplane mode. So we have this app that is being worked on by Snacked. Snacked is the background for it. Right now, it's called the Philip DeFranco app. We're trying to think of a better name for when we release. But it's a new app. Let me make sure I can see everything. I should have connected the phone to it. This new app where everyone in the nation can essentially respond to each other in video responses. It's one of the main things that I miss from old YouTube is saying, hey, let me know what you think in a video response. Obviously, we pulled out of what the Friday show used to be, which was kind of like this week-long recap and response. That doesn't feel right. Part of what I want to do with the live shows, part of what I want to do with some of the weekend content is incorporate you guys, your responses, your questions, your story recommendations. So I can post a video to this app and I'll say, hey guys, what do you want me to talk about this weekend, right? And so if there are big stories that we haven't covered in the week, you can make recommendations, and based off of the video, which we would most likely include in the show, we would then talk about the thing. This is our viewer recommended show, right? Something that gets to be separate from the PDS. We don't do, once again, like we did yesterday, 18 minutes on a subject that isn't full-on newsy. We do that. Also, I film, hey, what are your opinions on this? You guys send in your video responses. We get it directly, and we don't have to screen record Snapchat. We don't have to go through Insta stories and have to fucking move everything around. Also, if you're like, that was just a Coinbase email. Thank you for the person that signed up to my Coinbase link. They gave me $10 of Bitcoin. What's really nice, obviously you're like, Instagram square video, that's not going to look good on YouTube. Well, you can, if I can hit the button with my fat fingers, you can film square, or congratulations, you're fucking not shooting a stupid video. You hit record, you submit it, it gets straight into me, and that's been something that we've been working on, because 100%, when I say that the conversation is a big part of what we're doing, it is. I've been looking for a better way to do it. Working on the app has specifically been my main aim and focus there. Also working with Rise to make for better, more interesting live integration, which most likely we would incorporate Rise along with some of our live shows. That way we can have up to 3 other people on the show at the same time. Stuff like that, I'm so fucking excited. I'm so excited. Everything that we've been working on is just aligned. I'm very, very excited. But I gotta figure out a name for the app. Was it you that came up with the name?